Okay, welcome back to another short, maybe not, CreateQuest video. And today we're going to talk about getting rid of your fear of failure. And the first thing we need to think about or know is that failure is inevitable, especially when we're doing some kind of creative challenge, right? And bouncing back from failure is the most fundamentally creative thing that we can do. So by failing and learning to bounce back from it is how we expand into the best versions of ourselves. And the best way to do that is to get comfortable with failure. I mean, it's part of the path to success. We have to go through that wood of failure, the wilderness, right? And to help you get moving forward into failure and cultivate the confidence that you need to bounce back from failure, we're going to look at some super inspiring quotes about failure. A lot of quotes. I love all these quotes, so bear with me. Number one, we're going to start with MacLeod in his book, The Natural Way to Draw. And he says, quote, "The sooner you make your first 5,000 mistakes, the sooner you will be able to correct them," end quote. Awesome. Then Seneca says, quote, "It is not because of things are difficult that you do not dare. It's because you do not dare that things are difficult," end quote. Awesome. Then Tal Ben-Shahar says, quote, "We have a hall of fame for achievers, but we need a hall of fame for failures," end quote. Thomas Edison. Okay, there's a bunch of quotes from Thomas Edison. Quote, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work," end quote. I love that. And Thomas Edison, quote, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up," end quote. And Thomas Edison again, "We often miss opportunity because it's dressed in overalls and looks like work," end quote. I love that too. Another one from Thomas Edison, quote, "Genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration," end quote. And from Thomas Edison, quote, "When you have exhausted all possibilities, remember this, you haven't," end quote. So good. Another one from Thomas Edison, "Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is to always to try just one more time," end quote. Just one more time. Fail, go at it one more time. Love that. And lastly, from Thomas Edison, quote, "If we all did the things we are really capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves," end quote. Okay, that one was wonderful too, but I'm not done there. I got more quotes. John W. Gardner says, quote, "We pay a heavy price for our fear of failure. It is a powerful obstacle to growth. It assures the progress narrowing of the personality and prevents exploration and experimentation. There is no learning without some difficulty and fumbling. If you want to keep on learning, you must keep on risking failure all your life," end quote. All your life. Teddy Roosevelt says, quote, "Far better is to dare mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to take rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy much nor suffer much, because they live in the gray twilight that knows not victory nor defeat," end quote. Whoa, that's so good. Paulo Coelho says, quote, "There is only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve, the fear of failure," end quote. George Bernard Shaw says, quote, "When I was a young man, I observed that 9 of 10 things I did were failures. I didn't want to be a failure, so I did 10 times more work," end quote. Actually, if you look at the history of Van Gogh, he basically does the same thing. Does a ton of work. Fails a lot. One of the amazing artists on the planet. Anyway, Winston Churchill, quote, "Success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm," end quote. And then we have Robert F. Kennedy, quote, "Only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly," end quote. And then we have, lastly, the very last quote, Thomas Watson Sr., who's the founder of IBM, quote, "The fastest way to succeed is to double your rate of failure," end quote. I hope that all the wisdom from those amazing people that have changed the world is giving you a better idea of how important failure is through your creative process. So back to you. When's the last time you failed? Maybe today you can get busy failing, trying, failing, learning.